Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella is one of the architects of the AI boom, but now he's calling out the companies that are leading it. Nadella is warning that AI power is growing more and more concentrated, and big tech must earn the public's trust, telling the Wall Street Journal that companies have to watch messaging and avoid doom forecasts on AI safety and job losses. The Microsoft CEO is advocating for cheaper and user-controlled AI, also to steer away from a future dictated by frontier models. Jessica, the irony is not lost on me that he is one of the giants in technology that is paving the way to a certain degree. Your thoughts on what his messaging here is, because it's one thing to scold, but you're sort of part of the group that's leading the way as it is right now.
Yeah, well, I see he's saying a couple things, and he's alluding to an essay he wrote earlier in the month as well, so bringing it all together. But he's basically saying you can't say this doom and gloom that all white-collar jobs are going to be gone with artificial intelligence, and then in the same breath also state we need all of these data centers and those are going to help bring jobs, but this is also a mass weapon as well, then justify all the spending that they're doing in artificial intelligence if it's not going to ultimately help the economy in the long run. That's a component of it. So moving to open source and utilizing other aspects, I think that's where he's getting at. But what I love is his parallels that he is driving to deglobalization that happened in the 90s. So a lot of offshoring happened. And on the surface level, GDP looked absolutely fine. But because there was offshoring, we were losing our skills that you pass on through labor, through your managers and things of that nature. And this learning loop, or the loss of knowledge work, is what he's concerned of. And I agree with this point. When you are a big enterprise, for example, if you're not utilizing your own data and you're not building on a model, you're utilizing somebody else's model, you're feeding in your data into that model to only improve it, thus losing the knowledge work. So the same thing, drawing parallels, maybe not exactly the same, but losing that knowledge work that was from in our internal infrastructure, that took years to overcome. Doing that with artificial intelligence in large language models could be detrimental for the workforce in the longer run. This is a definitely longer term play, but you are right. It plays to him and his advantage because of his competitor.
Kind of like a Dr. Evil moment where he's sitting back and he's saying, Brian, to the rest of the community of AI, which is if we need to fix
we need
to fix our messaging strategy. We need to fix this because people are getting so scared of this that they don't want to let us rule the world. And so, everybody's got to dial it back.
I guess so, but it still feels like he's talking his book here, right? Because didn't they just do a deal with DeepSeek or something?
They're thinking about using DeepSeek as their co-pilot.
Okay. So
open source.
So he's saying
cheap.
we got to have these cheap models. Just so happens that's the route they're going down. So here's my thing. These guys are all smart. They're all smarter than me. But I'm tired of them trying to be thought leaders, telling me about the future. Okay, they've invented something. It's great. It's going to change the world. I'm convinced of that. I don't think they know how, and they all have their own incentives to push it one way or the other, to get in cozy with the government over here or to get in cozy with the government over here. And I'm kind of tired of it. I think they're all influence buying and seeking for their own competitive advantage. And I don't care if it's AI, I don't care if it's trucking, I don't care if you sell bananas. I don't like people doing that. And I think we ought to draw a clear line between government decision makers and these guys, because it's getting awfully fuzzy. And I think the losers in all that are the taxpayers and the American people who watch their money and influence go to these guys.
Satya is calling out, and Microsoft has put money in OpenAI and Anthropic. And he's, by talking about, you can't say, hey, all the white-collar jobs are gone and this could be a weapon and we're going to use all your power to build data centers. He's calling out Anthropic and Google and OpenAI. And in fact, Microsoft is in the hosting and infrastructure business. And Microsoft just kind of wants to host everybody. OpenAI is not the shoe-in to win this tech race, and and Microsoft under Nadella's leadership realizes you don't need to fund all of these large language models themselves to be part of this AI future. So he is looking at the big picture of where this tech in the big sense goes. And Nadella looked at how fast this tech was changing and growing, and looked at how much money OpenAI and Anthropic are spending on it, and said, yeah, nah, we don't, why make such a huge bet when we don't have to, that we can just essentially host this tech and be in the infrastructure business.
Smart.
We don't need to walk down the road or run down the road that the LLM creators are doing. And he said something similar last December about we need to earn the social permission to consume energy. He's trying to guide them, basically telling Dario Amodei, stop telling us that your stuff's dangerous.
Every layer of this AI chain, kind of supply chain of AI, has a different message. So I think about Jensen Huang's been very vocal, in his speeches, Satya Nadella, but they're all going about it from the way that it benefits them the most. And
Of course they are.
You know what I'm
not their company different than anybody else.
Yeah.
No one said anything when we offshored all of our blue-collar jobs to China. I am a firm believer that AI will create more jobs than it will destroy. But if there are some white-collar jobs that get destroyed, are all these people, are we going to feel sorry for them? Because no one felt sorry for the blue-collar jobs that were lost in small rural towns when we shipped them to China in the sake of profit. So I just want to make sure it's fair on both sides. I'm not really going to cry for the white-collar jobs because blue-collar had to go through it in the 90s. Just the circle.
AI actually will be a greater boom for people like the folks I grew up with, who were destroyed by the offshore.
It's in the data.
And I'm ready to see it.
Well, I see people now using AI where I grew up, like the people who don't have a choice but say to try to run their families' farms because their jobs were destroyed by Walmart and Sam's Club.
On that note,
Yeah.
should we talk about another deal? This is with Microsoft, but they're powering with Chevron for a 20-year power purchase agreement to build a $7 billion nat gas AI data center in the West Texas campus. This is one of the largest collaborations that we've seen between a hyperscaler and big oil. But what's interesting about this, and I think that they need to talk about this more, I need to be hearing more about this, they are totally bypassing the public Texas ERCOT grid. Everything is going to be self-isolating between Chevron and Microsoft, so not drawing on the ERCOT. But then the good thing is you don't then get the rolling blackouts that sometimes come with the power grid. Remember when there was a big freeze and the power went out? So it can work both ways, but they should be talking about this. Hey, we're building a data center, but we are not even touching your grid. We're building our own thing. That, I think, would go a long way in terms of the social construct of how we think about AI data centers.
They're building a $7 billion data center, and they're saying we can't let the AI giants eat the economy. The guy's building a $7 billion data center saying that?
He's the AI giant.
Okay.
I know.
I just, like, that's...
It's not lost on us, the irony.
No, he means the other jolly.
The other giants.
The other jolly.
No, I know, but like I'm building a $7 billion data center, but they're the giants.
No, the other jolly green
Dr.
Joes
Evil.
and Jills.
Okay.
Like, okay.
I think it's the
Tell me.
knowledge loop too, though. I really do. Eating the economy, as in you're putting in all of your knowledge, and all of a sudden these giants own every bit of data. That is bad. That
I was thinking about my conversations with AI the other day and the log that must be, because I've been really getting into it, Dagan, but then you give more detail with respect respect to whatever you're
But
asking
now you
about.
sound like Bernie Sanders, where he says you collectively built AI, so therefore you deserve 50% of the company.
No, I didn't say that. I just said I don't want to give them more data than I already do.
But you have to be somebody else briefly and talking to your preferred LLM.
Right.
So you got to shake things up, like in a relationship.
Okay.
Wait, but not
sounds
like in a
very
relationship.
Point taken.